Hi everyone. Today I got the opportunity to sit down with my good friend Jack, who also happens to be my triathlon coach. Jack takes triathlon very seriously. It's something he's documented on his Instagram and he's gained quite a bit of fame doing so. He's followed by Gordon Ramsay, which I think's a flex. So it's a really interesting conversation. I hope you learned something and I'll see you soon. Jack, thanks for coming on.
Wicked, thanks for having me, Luke. I'm excited, right? I said, love this setup. Looking very suave compared to my room here, but no, it's class, mate.
So I know Jack, everyone, because he's my triathlon coach. So I stumbled across Jack on social media, does a lot of amazing content about triathlon, specifically about Ironman triathlons. Got really inspired by his content, reached out to him, and he's been my coach ever since. He's brilliant. So to sort of start with, Jack, what got you into triathlon?
So I'd say I've always been pretty active since I was a kid. So I started off from the age of 5, playing tennis, playing football, running, just moving, basically doing anything that involved group activities, team sports. I just used to love it, and I still do now. So I've grown up doing that quite a lot. And then I think between the ages of 17 and probably 20, when I joined the military at 18, which I'm sure we'll get into, I kind of went off sport and just started, drinking, doing other things that are not maybe so productive. And then that lost my touch with sport and activities and staying fit. Got pretty unfit, a bit skinny fat as well. I'm too tall and lanky to actually get properly fat, but yeah, I wasn't in great shape. I was smoking and everything as well, and just unproductive habits. I find I've got a really addictive personality, so whatever I do, I'm all in the whole way, which in that period was pretty bad. And then now, I feel like I'm channeling it into good things. And then I'd say 2 years ago, I was just a bit I'd done a course in the military to try and progress my career because I just felt like I was stagnating a bit. And that fell through for other reasons. I got corona virus the day before I was meant to go on the course, which was a nightmare. And that was a course to join a different part of the military. So kind of to progress in, just a different part of the military basically. And then that fell through. So I was speaking to my mate and we was in Cyprus. That's where I'm based. And was what can I do that's just challenging, that's something that I can put my mind to and focus on for a bit. And then we saw Ironmans and I was maybe going straight into an Ironman's a bit mad. So I signed up for Ironman 70.3 Nice in France, did zero training. We went on a lovely trip, a week-long trip, me and my mate Lewis. We flew into Milan, went to Lake Como, went to Portofino, did what you shouldn't do straight before an Ironman 70.3, doing 20,000 steps a day, just exploring everywhere and being in the sun all day. I had no clue what I was doing. I did the race and finished in 6 hours, 59 minutes, which is respectable. I think anyone who finishes a 70.3, credit to them. It's awesome. But it's a bit slower than the average time, I'd say. And I really, really struggled. But from that, I just learned so much about what I could do differently, what you could tell other people who they're doing the first 70.3 to do. And I didn't really feel like anyone was posting that on Instagram. So that's when I made the page, and now here we are. It's gone rapid. It's gone really quick, but it's exciting.
And it's blown up as well. The page is really popular, isn't it? You've got so much interaction, a lot of followers.
It's definitely, yeah, it's really good. It's the main thing for me. I used to have a YouTube channel and a page when I was younger, when I was a kid, before it was really a thing. So I think when I was in primary school or secondary school in year 4, so I don't know, maybe 11 or 12, I used to make videos about literally anything, just pick up my camera and vlog myself going to Hull City games or video my hamsters and stuff like that, or me playing FIFA. I just love talking to a camera, and at the time it was really weird and it wasn't a normal thing. And then I got a couple thousand subscribers and it was going well, making a bit of money, and I was I'm going to do this full time. But again, at the time, that wasn't really a thing. And then people at my school found out, and then I started getting a bit of stick for it, and just I didn't like the attention and that. So as soon as I went to college, I just stopped all the pages, and that was kind of not a regret because everything happens for a reason. But yeah, I think if I'd have carried on, that would have been good. But I'm glad I've now kind of grown the balls to just go for it again, because there was a lot of doubts again before I started posting, just thinking like, oh, what's everyone going to think? What are these guys going to say? Everyone at work's going to laugh at me. And yeah, I've learned now that no one cares really, and not as important as a lot of everyone has the same problems, don't they? And the world doesn't revolve around like me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's interesting to think that, you know, you initially make content like you're making now, but it's sort of realizing that the content that you're making isn't for the audience you already have. It's for a totally different audience of people that are going to support what you're doing and get what you're doing, and sort of, you know, help lift you up and push you further. So, you know, it's trying to probably remove that need to have people around you sort of be supportive of what you're doing, because it's when you're doing things like this, people don't get it. It's so different, and especially at the level you're doing now, like it's crazy. So you mentioned earlier that your first 70.3, you did not a lot of training. I see the way you train. You do a lot of training. So what's not a lot of training to you? Like, how little did you train for that first 70.3 in terms of hours?
Wow. Yeah. So I had a coach at the time who was not a triathlon coach. I was paying, I think it was something crazy, like £350 a month. He sold himself as like everything you could ever want and everything, and it wasn't great. Started off paying him to, like, you had to pay 6 months up front. So I kind of realized after 2 months it was terrible, or not what I wanted. It obviously works for some people. And then I couldn't cancel, so I was with him, and he was having me do maybe like, the sessions just had no like point to them. It was just like, cycle for an hour, swim for like 20 minutes, even though I couldn't swim, and like run for half an hour. So I was maybe training like 2 hours of cardio a week, and then like 4 gym sessions, which is not optimal for doing your 70.3, to be honest. Obviously, like there's it depends what goals you want. Like yourself, you cross train quite a lot, don't you? You do your swimming every day, and like everyone's different, and it depends what race you're doing, whether you're doing a sprint or things like that. But yeah, if like now my training has changed so much, and I have a coach myself who I learned a lot from. I had a different coach last year. Yeah, everyone's coaching styles are different, but I think the main thing is just consistency. Which is what I'm trying to stick to now.
Yeah, I think coaching is really important. Like, a lot of people like really push against it, saying, "Oh, I don't need a coach," or whatever that's for, whether it's for fitness or for triathlon or business, whatever it may be. But I think it really helps keep you accountable, and you know, it's small. It's steering the ship very lightly in the right direction, I feel. So yeah, I think having you as a coach, it's really helped me progress. I've had times where I've not pushed it as much, and you've sort of said, "Come on, you need to be doing more than that." And you know, it's been finding that balance for me, because I like my strength training too much. I struggle to prioritize more time to triathlon, which is why I'm doing the 75 hard now. So I'm hoping to sort of rack up a lot of hours on triathlon through this 75 hard.
So finding that balance as well, don't it? Like you say, like you want to enjoy your training. If you enjoy the strength training, you have to keep doing that. Like you could just go and do 5 days a week of just triathlon and forget your strength, and you might do it for 4 months and you'd just be miserable, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be enjoying it, and then it's like, there's no longevity there.
Definitely. So you're training for a full Ironman now, aren't you? This is your first full Ironman.
Yeah. So I did. So I don't know. For people that don't know, there might be a few people that don't know. Like, Ironman is obviously a brand, isn't it? And I did technically a full Ironman last year, but it wasn't an Ironman branded event. It was a race called Challenge Roth in Germany, which is a very iconic race for people who are like hardcore triathlon fans, I guess. It sells out in like a minute a year before every single year. And there were, I think, like 5,000 people doing it. That was an awesome race, but it wasn't an Ironman branded event. So now I've just signed up to my first Ironman branded event in July, which is Ironman Leeds. I am from like in between Leeds and Hull, a small town, so like 40 minutes from Leeds. So it'll be nice to do one. It'll be my first one in the UK. It's going to be a really tough course, a hard swim, a really hilly bike, and then a hilly run as well, which I'm excited for.
So take me through the different distances so people can understand what we're actually talking about with Ironman. So, you've got sprint, Olympic, 70.3 and a full. Can take me through those distances.
Yeah, so you got the full Ironman, which you're starting off with a 3.8 kilometer swim, 2.4 miles. Then you're going into a 180 kilometer bike, which is, it's a fair way. And then you're going into a marathon. I'd say the full Ironman it's a very, very obviously long day out. It's a very aerobic day out. So like you're working like in and around lactate threshold 1. So you've got to stay controlled. It's a race, but it's not like you're definitely not going crazy speeds. You've got to be within yourself and like kind of pulling yourself back all day. Fueling's massive and really important for that distance as well. And then you've got the 70.3, which is a half Ironman, so half the distances across all three, 1.9 kilometer swim, 90 kilometer bike, and then a half marathon. Again, I've done a 70.3. It's a nice distance. It's a bit more like higher intensity, going fully into it. And then, you've got the Olympic distance, which is 1.5 kilometer swim, 40 kilometer bike, and then a 10 kilometer run. And then the sprint. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And then the sprint, the 750 meter swim, 20 kilometer bike, and 5 kilometer run. And then you've also got T100 distance now, which is in between an Olympic and a 70.3. So there's so many different races to choose from. And a sprint, I wouldn't say is easier than like a 70.3 in some ways. That might sound crazy. Obviously, one's like lasting like an hour and a half or whatever, and a 70.3 is maybe like 5 to 6 hours. But a sprint is just balls to the wall, like dying the whole way.
Yeah, it's the pace of it. I think I've discovered that when you do, like, say, I know it's on a smaller scale, but like I think you said it in one of your videos, like a 5k run is just all pain. Do you know what I mean? Versus like doing a 10k or onwards, like it's more aerobic, isn't it? Like
exactly.
So it gives you more time to pace yourself. But with the shorter distances, you've got to put it all in. So it's definitely harder. So, for someone like me that doesn't want to fully sacrifice their strength training, but maybe at one point wants to do a 70.3, what's the sort of short minimum amount of training that you think you could do to achieve that type of race? Not necessarily it being super comfortable, but just achievable.
It depends fully on the person and like their background, everything like that, which is obviously, it's not a bit of a cop-out answer, but it really does depend on what you've done. Like and how mentally strong you are, and like how susceptible to injury and all them kind of things. But I think most people, the swim's the hardest bit. If you can get through the swim, I think most people can finish a 70.3 with very little training. But there's a difference between obviously finishing one and racing one, and like doing it to the best of your ability. But I think maybe like you could do it like with 4 hours a week of training, just if you literally wanted to just get through it. But the swim's the thing that most people find the hardest, and that is a case of like the bike and the run, you can kind of work harder and get better. The swim is all technique, so you can't just get in the pool and like work harder, because your technique is the main thing. So you've really got to like just be patient, and it takes a really long time, but then when it does eventually come together, that makes it much more rewarding and worth the wait.
So when did you decide to change from 70.3 to a full, and what made you want to do that?
So I've done 4 70.3s now and then 1 full. The full I enjoyed more than the 70.3s. I just enjoy like the distance better. I feel like as an athlete I've got a better engine rather than just like pure speed, so I can just keep going and going and going. And I think that like mentally, I think I'm very strong, and that's like a good asset for myself. I believe in myself. Good positive self-talk in a race, which I think the mental side of like an Ironman or like long distance triathlon, or obviously just life in general, like if you're mentally strong and like manifesting things and like good positive thoughts coming into a race, it makes such a big difference, rather than like having a lot of self-doubt and stuff. And I mean, that can only come from like turning up every single day and training and, smashing each day and just like, having the respect for yourself and the discipline to just keep coming and keep doing it every day. And then you go into the race just feeling like, well, I've done everything. Like, what whatever happens now is just, out of your hands.
So with training for a full Ironman like you are now, how many hours are you putting in a week? Is it like 12?
Yeah, so it's a weird situation where I am now. So I'm away on like a deployment with work. I got here in like December, and I'm here for 6 months, and then I'm leaving my work, the military. So where I am, it's very like going about everywhere, working a lot, quite unpredictable really. So training's been tough. I've been training on an indoor bike a lot, which a lot of people in the UK know is not so fun. Like sitting on a bike for like 4 hours is not great, but it's got to be done. And I'd say now I'm averaging around like 11 to 14 hours a week. And then that's going to be going up to probably like around 15, 16, and just like hold it at that until June. Like I say, it's all about consistency, and you don't have to do anything like majorly special. Just keep showing up and being smart in the sessions and ticking each week off. But no, I'm really excited for Leeds. Like, I think you have to be really get excited about races. Like I did a few towards the end of last year after Roth, like Greece and stuff, and I was crazy busy with work and just like a bit like burnt out. And I went into them races not that excited, more just like looking forward to finish. Which, it doesn't. It's not as good if you're doing that. So I'm going into Leeds like pretty fresh and really excited to race, which is good.
Yeah. So what you said you're doing like 11 to 15 hours. Out of that split, what is spent on each discipline?
Yeah. So I would say each week's kind of different. The swims, I'd normally do about 3 swims a week, but sometimes I don't have a pool depending on where I am. And then I'd say 60% or 50% is on the bike, like the majority of the time on the bike. I think that's because like the chance of injury is lowest on the bike. There's like less impact on your musculoskeletal system and going through your knees and all that kind of thing, and there's less chance of just impact injuries and stress injuries when you're on the bike for most people if you've got a proper fit and everything. And then the rest of the time will be on the run. But I think it's important when you're running to try and be smart about it. Like we do a lot of hill work, which running uphill, like again, there's less impact going through your body, and you can go do like intervals and stuff and like lower chance of injury. And then making sure I run on like gravel and soft surfaces and tracks when I can, rather than just straight tarmac. I think staying injury free in this kind of training is a huge thing. And again, that's like what you said, that's why it's good to have a coach and someone overseeing your training and someone you can like talk to and just say like, oh, body's not feeling too good today. So then we move everything around. But yeah, mostly on the bike, then the run, and then like 2 to 3 swims a week.
And what do you do in them instances where do you get injured a lot?
Injured a lot. I've not been injured. I've not been injured once since in my whole life. I think I had a broken hand from football once. Yeah. I jumped up for a header and it got squished in between 2 people and somehow my hand broke. So apart from that, I've not been injured at all. No, really. I've a few times I've had like niggles and stuff. When I was in Cyprus, I had a chiropractor / physio who worked for like a professional cycling team, EF Cycling as well. And he's quality, and I just used to go see him every month. And like you say, I feel like people are very scared to invest in themselves a lot of the time. Like they'll happily go out and like spend loads of money on what I'd say pointless things, but like putting like £55 a month into this physio and chiropractor just once a month. He's like, I've gone to him so many times and been like, oh, my shoulder's like tweaking here, and he's like, oh, what are you doing in your swim? Or my hip or my IT band, it'll be like, yeah, this is that. You need to do this next week, and just be careful here. And I've just been injury free the whole time. And then I do mobility and stretching after like most sessions as well.
Yeah, massage is so important. I think especially when you're doing a lot of output, you've really got to schedule it in. I try and go twice a month if I can, just because it prevents the injury coming. Rather than allowing something to build up and build up and build up until it snaps, Exactly. So, 100%. I'm vouched.
Yeah, and you could do all the training, can't you? But then the training's like literally half of it. If you're not eating the right foods, if you're not recovering, if you're not sleeping, if you're not having these like sports massages, and like I seen you've done yoga today, haven't you? Yeah, I
Did
love a
you?
bit of yoga, mate. I
Brilliant.
think yoga's class for like mobility, flexibility, even like it's a form of meditation, isn't it? It's like you're breathing and everything. It's seriously good yoga.
Yeah.
Did you do hot yoga? Yeah.
Say again, sorry.
Did you do hot yoga today?
Yeah, I did hot pod yoga. Yeah,
That's pretty brutal, I've heard. Yeah.
it's good. It's good. It's not what. Obviously, it gets warm in there, and you're like absolutely dripping with sweat. But the heat just helps. It makes you more limber.
Right.
You sort of feel more like in a meditative state, and it really helps with the flow of yoga, I feel. But it's not easy. Like it is tough, but it's not meant to be easy either. It's meant to be challenging.
Like
I was speaking. I was speaking to my good friend Matt yesterday, and he was saying that it's the only real exercise that's the full package. You know, it's good mentally, it's good physically, it's good emotionally. Like it does everything all in one. So yeah, I love yoga. It's something I'm going to be trying to do a lot more of now on this 75 hard. So obviously you've done all these crazy triathlons. When did you sort of start documenting that, and how did you then get into the videography side and sort of get this content business that you've now got?
Yeah. So I'd say it was June 2 years ago. That I did Nice, and Lewis, my friend, like I say, from the RAF, he's now left, came along with me to Nice, and I was saying to him, like, we was doing all these cool things, seeing these cool places. I said, like, I'd like to film all this. I think it'd be pretty cool to make videos and stuff. And I told him, he knew I already used to do it as a kid and like enjoyed doing it. And then I just said to him, like, I just can't be bothered with, like the people's opinions, and like if everyone gives me backlash and things like that. And he's like, no, just do it. So we filmed loads of like clips in Nice, and then I just posted the first video kind of explaining like, oh, I've done my first triathlon, it didn't go too well, I'm going to be making videos, I'm in the military. And like I was so nervous, like just overthinking it so much. Like, yeah, I shit myself when I first posted the first video.
Yeah.
I don't know what thought was happening. I was expecting like me to walk into the mess at work on the military base, and people just be like, "Oh, what is that guy? I've just seen his video. What a weirdo!" Like just people like chanting at me and stuff. But lo and behold, no one said anything. No one watched my videos. So it was like a good like 6 months of me posting, and maybe like I'd have 1,000 followers, and like each video get a couple hundred views. And I didn't care about the views. I think a lot of people can start social media for the wrong problems sometimes, and like it's good that I just enjoy making content and videos, and I think that comes across in my videos as well. Like I generally love doing it, and I feel really natural behind the camera and stuff. So I just kept on posting and posting and posting. I'd say like a year and a half, I was posting like 3 to 4 times a week. It was all I did. So I'd go into work, I'd train like before and after work, and then I'd make videos. So like I'd sacrificed like a lot of my social life to do all of it. But I just, in my head, like I felt like I knew that it would come to something and I could make it something. And then like slowly now I think it's easy to get caught up in everything and not really like reflect and look back. But like I was editing videos yesterday, and I was looking back at some old footage from when I was doing it like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I was like saying to myself, like, oh, hello to my 500 followers. I'm like, in a year's time, I'd love to do this as a job and stuff. And like now I'm literally waiting to leave to do it as a job.
Yeah.
But then I've got my own pages, and like you say, I'm not just leaving to try and be an influencer. I'm trying to do like videography for other companies as well. And I've got quite a few things set up there. So there's the Try Guys Triathlon coaching company. They sent me out to France last year as well to video them, make content for them. I now run their page, which is doing really well and growing. And then obviously I edit their videos, advise them on what content to make, and post everything. And then, yeah, they pay me to go to Ironman events this year to go film the whole team and meet people. And a lot of it is out of my comfort zone, definitely. Like before, I'm not 100% confident going into it, but I feel like you realize everyone's like that. Everyone's kind of winging it a bit, and you just got to put yourself in them like uncomfortable situations, and you just adapt to it. So yeah, I'm that's what I'm doing now.
Must be pretty surreal going from that, just a glimmer of an idea to think, oh, I might post this, to then sort of manifesting and getting what you'd sort of aim for. And so what was the moment, do you think, that you knew you wanted to leave the military and pursue this full time?
I knew before I posted that first video. Like I said, so I've got text that I sent to my cousin and stuff when I was telling him I'm going to start making videos, and he's obviously known how obsessive I was as a kid. I got like teachers calling my parents saying like Jack spends too much time making like YouTube videos. You need to like get him to stop making them and stuff and slow down his page because he needs to focus on schoolwork. Because I just used to do it all the time. Like I'd sit on the computer for hours just because I loved it. So like, yeah, even before I posted that first video, the main thing was just me like growing the balls and the courage to actually just do it and not care about like what other people are saying and that, and just like embrace what I enjoy doing. And just because it's a bit weird talking to a camera sometimes, or some people might not understand it, that doesn't matter. Like if it makes me happy and that. So yeah, before I posted, I kind of like knew if you just keep sticking at this and keep going and keep doing it, it will come to something. Yeah,
definitely. So before you race, do you have any sort of special routines or rituals that you'll do? What's your sort of pre-race ritual? What do you do?
Pre-race ritual. Every race I go to, they've all been in quite nice countries and places. So like Croatia, in Perec, me and my cousin went. I love doing races with other people. Like I don't think I've done one race where I've just gone alone. I think it's really good sharing that experience with your mates. And so I've done 2 races with my cousin, Perec and Venice, and then we just like go explore, go eat loads of good food, make the most of the carb load. Like that's the best bit. Just eat as much pasta and everything as you can. And then yeah, rituals. I don't have anything like superstitious at all, really. Every race, something like has gone catastrophically wrong in the build-up, like in the few days before, because I've just got so many things going on. I'm just a bit like I leave everything a bit till the last minute, or just don't worry about it too much. And then I'm like, oh god, I couldn't get my disc wheel on one of the races. Like I was running around trying to sort that out, or like I popped 3 inner tubes before Roth the night before because I was trying to fit them with my dad and they just kept exploding. So I had to like cycle to a mountain bike shop and get some dodgy inner tubes. But like I say, I go into the races with a mindset that whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and there's no way that I can fail or lose the race. The race is just the icing on the cake for me. All the process and the training is like what makes it for me, and that's what I really enjoy. And even if like I went into the race and God forbid like crashed or had a bike mechanical or something didn't happen, then I didn't finish, like it's not the end of the world. You can always learn from every single situation. I think it's like how you react to it rather than what happens. So yeah.
What sort of repair kits, what sort of gear do you bring with you to try and prevent something failing on the bike? What do you bring?
Yeah, there's so much kit, there's I mean, looking after your bike and maintaining it and servicing it like regularly is the main thing, I'd say. And then before every race, I'd get it checked by a proper mechanic. And I found the Hanzo was a lot more complicated. So I did my first 2 races on a Trek, a 2012 £500 Trek Madame road bike, which was it's an absolute beast. One of my mates actually, I lent him it to do Venice, and he fell off it and did a front flip and split the frame, but he still rode it in Venice and it still got through, so it's an absolute tank. But that was a lot more simple than the Hanzo. Now the Hanzo is like, it's behind me, it's got so many different things and it's all like very precision engineering. Yeah, that's my Valentine there right there. Did you see that video? Yeah. What a saddo, sitting in my room at 25 making a video about me loving my bike.
So I mean, triathlon bikes can get silly. Do you mind me asking how much you paid for it?
Yeah, so the Hanzo it's about 12.5k if you buy it in the UK from Black Ink. There's only one place that sells it. I bought it in Cyprus, so I get tax-free in Cyprus. Nice. And I got a deal with a bike shop as well, so I got it for a lot cheaper than that. And I'm going to be selling it soon because I have got a new bike on the way with a company that I'm like kind of working with. So that'll be exciting as well. But yeah, bikes are ridiculous amounts of money. And to be fair, it's probably you don't need a bike that expensive. You can get like they're still expensive, but you can get like a grand TT bike and it'll last you and do you just as well as a Hanzo. It just won't be as shiny. And yeah.
You think for someone like me, it's worth investing in a TT bike for the amount of triathlon I'm doing?
I don't think so. No, I think when you first start, and I think it's much better to just stick with a road bike. There's even a lot of like Ironman Leeds, for example, a lot of people will be using road bikes as well, just because it's a hilly course. A TT bike is hard to go out on a social ride with people, and I encourage everyone who's doing triathlon training or doing triathlon like for a bit of fun to try and make the training social and go out with other people, which is a lot easier to do on a road bike. It's more comfortable. It's more versatile. The TT bike is like if you're really getting serious into the racing, because you have to be able to hold a position for like a long time, and then it's just a money pit. Once you buy the bike, then you may as well get a really good bike fit, and then you have to go get a bike fit every year because you're tweaking your position. Then you got to get better at flexibility. It's like an endless money pit.
Yeah, imagine. What differences does it make? Like, how much better has it made you?
Oh, on a flat course, like if I was on my Trek compared to my Hansa on a 70.3, pushing the same power, I reckon you're about 5 to 10 minutes faster.
Yeah, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in this sort of discipline, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like if I'm trying to go for world champs, that's like the difference between world champs and not. But then most people who are trying to go for world champs have spent a ridiculous amount of money on the bike, so it is kind of even. But a lot of people think like the almost more important thing is the bike fit. So you could get like a £1,000. So a bike fit is like you buy a bike and then you go into like a bike shop and they fit you to the bike properly, so they can move you around and like change the height of the handlebars and things like that, and your aero bars and your saddle, and try and get you in the most aerodynamic position possible. That can be more important than the actual bike. Like if I was on my Hansa with a poor bike fit compared to a guy on a £500 TT bike with a good bike fit, he'd be faster.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's really cool. Every day's a school day. That's good. What's been your favourite course so far that you've done?
Favourite course? It's got to be Challenge Roth. Challenge Roth was unbelievable. It was in Bavaria in Germany. The roads are just insane, like really nice open roads, really flat, really fast, like looping up and down, rolling. It was unbelievable. And there's a place called Solar Hill, where almost like I think like the stages in the Tour de France where you're going up the hill and then it's like Moses parts the water and there's like thousands of people just this close together and you're just like going through them. Wow. That was insane. But yeah, Roth definitely was my favourite.
And what about the Ironman courses you've done? Which was the best out of
that? I would say best all round. I'd probably say Nice. Nice is really iconic. It's been around for like a long time. And yeah, Nice is a stunning place. The 70.3 is done on the same day as the full Ironman. It's where the World Champs is hosted this year for the men. And yeah, you do a sea swim, which is really nice along the promenade. And then you go and do a 90-kilometer cycle, which is in the mountains, Col de Hers, I believe. I'm not too sure. I might be getting that wrong. But you go up the mountain and then like just send it down the mountain, which is pretty sketchy on my little trek. But yeah, that was a quality course. And then you finish the run with, loops of the promenade on the seafront with everyone cheering you on, which was class. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I've got the T100 this year. I'm doing the T100 London.
Yes.
Olympic. Obviously, I'm not doing the full distance. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It looks like a big race. Have you done the T100s as well?
So I have actually, yeah. So T100, I am like as one of the companies that I'm hoping to be working with next year quite a bit. So I went to T100 London just to do like filming and videography and stuff like that, and that was quality. Like the atmosphere at the T100 events are awesome. Everyone's racing. There's thousands of people coming together. The setup's really cool, and then everyone watches the pros like the day after they've raced, which is really cool to do. I went to Dubai as well to the T100 Grand Final. I got to race that. The T100 is a really nice distance as well. It is like, yeah, I'd recommend it. I think if you enjoy the Olympic distance, I think that would be a good next like progression. But yeah, they're really well organised events, and I'll be definitely doing some more next year.
So you said on the T100, I didn't know what you just said. So there's the normal race and then there's the pro race straight after, is there?
So say you're doing your Olympic distance on the Saturday, they normally split it up. So they'll have like the age groupers in the morning first thing, and then they'll have like the pro women on the Saturday afternoon. and then the pro men on the Sunday. So you can, do your Olympic race and then finish, and then you just like go get showered or whatever and come back and you can watch the pro women race.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's all on big TVs. You can watch them, the swim, bike and run. It's really good.
I feel like the women's races are more popular than the men's. I don't know if you agree with that, but I feel like I know more about the women's races. Like you hear names more free, or at least I do anyway. What do you think? Is women's sport bigger?
I think compared to other sports, women's triathlon and men's triathlon is much closer in like many ways, in popularity, like you say, in like ability and speed. Like the women are insane. They're not that miles behind the men. Like in a lot of other sports, there's a huge gap, whereas it's not quite the case for the women's. I really enjoy them both. I think there's a lot of cool, like the way the T100 have done it is try to make it more like media and more documenting the rivalries and like people's stories and stuff like that, so you connect with them more, like F1 Drive to Survive, which they're doing a really good job, and their media team for T100 is insane. Like it's quality, and I've got to work with them firsthand, and they're really, really like bang on with everything, so they make you feel like every person who's racing and like you're invested in their story, which makes it a lot better.
I've really enjoyed watching their content. I've sort of been following it over the last few months, and it's definitely been cool to watch for sure.
It's motivating as well, isn't it? It's good to see all them doing it. It makes you want to push yourself as well.
Definitely. It looks a lot shorter when you watch it on telly.
They're cheating, mate. They're going like 3:20 per kilometer on the run. It's ridiculous. I was there with my camera in Dubai trying to get a shot of running next to the women. I was like, come on, slow down. Like I'm there sprinting with a camera. I can't even keep up.
That's mental. Yeah, they're serious, aren't they? Really serious.
It's crazy.
So what's your fastest 70.3?
Fastest 70.3 was Venice, 4 hours 28. And then my slowest was 6 hours 59 in Nice. It's a weird one though, because like you can only compare really a 70.3 to the 70.3 on this exact same course, and even then, like conditions on the day make such a difference. You could go back to a race and you'll see like sometimes the current's not good on the swim and it'll slow everyone down by 5 minutes. Sometimes there's a headwind, sometimes there's a tailwind on the bike, sometimes it's really hot on the run. So it's really hard to compare certain times to each other apart from the exact same race on the exact same day. And then I say that Venice was terrible for drafting on the bike, so there was just like pelotons of people all going by each other and it was impossible not to like get caught in them. So it wasn't the most honest race compared to say like Nice or a hilly race where you can't really get as much drafting on people.
When you say in drafting, I've never fully understood this. So are you faster when you're going behind someone? Is that what it is, like Mario Kart?
Exactly like Mario Kart. Yeah, they're dropping like little stars. No, it's huge. Yeah, like we'll have to get out on a ride or something when I go back to the UK and show you. But it's it's a massive difference. I believe it's 6 or 9 meters. I might be getting that wrong. That you have to be behind them. But if you're like out on a ride with someone and they're in the front of you and you're right on their wheel, you're looking at like, it depends on the day, but you could be like 50 watts. Pushing 50 watts less just on their wheel than they are, and then when you swap around, you're pushing 50 watts more. So that's a big difference.
That because they're taking all the wind
in effort. Yeah, it's all aerodynamics. Aerodynamics is massive in triathlon. Like the faster you get, the more it matters. Like the pros are. That's why they're like doing all the wind tunnel testing and looking at different tri suits and shaving the legs and calf sleeves and everything like that. Like calf sleeves I wore in Roth, and I haven't tested them, but like you're looking at a couple of minutes just for calf sleeve, excuse me. Which again, like if you've got 5 different things like a disc wheel, calf sleeve, shaved legs, expensive tri suit, all them minutes turn into like 15 minutes. So
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, little things.
Yeah, they all add up.
So for a lot of people that don't know, when you're doing any type of endurance sport like this, you tend to taper. So before you race, you'll obviously train very hard for the months coming up to the race, but then you taper off slightly. So just take me through what you do to taper before the race.
Yeah, again, everyone's very individual. Some people prefer tapers, which are less intense. Some people prefer to keep the overall volume and intensity like kind of similar to what they've been doing in the training. Just to explain the taper, like you said, so 2 weeks before a race, obviously you're not wanting to train like fully as you go right up into the race. Then you're going to be under like a decent amount of fatigue, and you're not going to be fresh for the race. So I'd say for a 70.3 or an Ironman, you're looking at a 2 week taper, which means the first week you'll be dropping the overall volume by maybe like 60% to what you normally do, or 60% of what you normally do, and keeping short spouts of intensity. So you're keeping kind of sharp. And then the second week, and maybe look at going like 40% of your normal overall volume, what you've been doing. So if you've been doing like 12 hours a week, you'd then do like 4 or 5 hours a week on race week. And then again, just keeping on moving, keeping on ticking over, and keeping short spurts of intensity so you don't just go flat. Tapering's a really weird feeling. It's hard to explain. Like, you normally do feel quite sluggish and quite rubbish and a bit like just unsure, because you're not getting all the endorphins that you normally get from training every day and doing big sessions. But then it comes to race day, and if you've nailed the taper, and if you're hydrating well, fueling well, carb loading, all them kind of things, then you go into the race feeling really fresh and peaking. So yeah, that's the aim. But it does take a bit of experimenting. I say I taper better off a lower volume, so like really, really pulling it back and not doing much. I figured that out just from race weeks being so busy and so many things going wrong that I've just had to miss sessions. But it seems to have worked, yeah.
So you're saying it works more the less you do before the race, you personally?
For me, yeah. Like before, like the week of the Ironman, I think I did about 5 hours. And then the 70.3, sometimes I done like 3 or 4 hours, just, a little bit of a little short cycle with little bits of intensity picked up in there. And yeah, just an easy run and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I find it easier that way rather than like carrying on doing like 8 hours.
Yeah. So what do you sort of do for nutrition, both while training and before a race?
Yeah, nutrition is really important. I'd say it's like the fourth discipline. It's especially in Ironman distance and very much in 70.3s. During training, any sessions, it depends what day it is and how hard the session is. But if it's an easy session under an hour, I generally wouldn't fuel it, because it can help your body adapt to using your fat stores, and make you more optimized at using fat as an energy fuel source. Any session that is a higher intensity, around an hour, I would fuel between like 40 to 60 grams, just to make sure you can actually execute that session well and to the best of your ability. And also, so you're replenishing your glycogen stores, so that when you've finished, your body's already starting to recover rather than them being depleted and not being able to start recovering. And then, yeah, longer sessions, like say you do, normally most people do one long ride a week. You're going to be looking at fueling that. I fuel it probably about like 80 to 100 grams an hour, especially as I'm coming up to racing like 2 months before. I'll be fueling every session basically to try and train your gut, to get used to taking whatever you're taking, to just like get everything set in stone, to taking your sodium as well. I cramp quite a bit, and if you take the right amount of sodium, you can do sweat tests. Yeah.
Do you use your sort of energy gels and everything in your normal training as well? You use that throughout the year, do you?
Yeah. Any session that's like above an hour, I'll be fueling it like 40 to 60 grams of carbs. It don't always have to be like energy gels. Like I got banana here, like I'll be eating, like, it's a massive banana, isn't it? It's American, mate. Everything that the Americans do is just like larger than life. But use bananas, just pulling out like the biggest banana you've ever seen in your life. Sweets and anything like that. I said to like a lot of people I'm coaching, you don't have to buy the most expensive, like Morton gels and stuff like that, especially this time of year. Just get a bag of Haribos. The gels and the carb powders are essentially just like glucose and sugar. So you can just get some Haribos or like any real food, banana.
Wow. So you'll be on the bike dipping your hand in a bag of Haribos?
Yeah, generally, mate. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. Basically, it takes a bit longer for your body to digest, like maybe an extra 20 minutes, but it'll just use it as fuel.
Tastes good though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a treat as well. It's like every 5 minutes you're like, right, I will stay on just so I can get that Haribo love out.
Yeah. Definitely. I like that. So you did your triathlon, then you started making content. When did that then transition into coaching?
Yeah, so I did my first triathlon. I had my own coach, like I said. After the first triathlon, I changed coaches, got a proper coach, and then I'd say I didn't start coaching until about a year in. Like I'm still, which is quite early. Like some people are like, "Oh, how can you coach someone when you've only been in triathlon a year?" But like I'm obviously very open. There's a lot of coaches out there who are more knowledgeable than me, who are probably better coaches than me. I'm not like the best coach in the world. I don't really advertise my coaching too much. I just really, really love and enjoy working with people like yourself. I learn a lot from the people I'm coaching, and I like to think I give as much value as I can to them as well. And because I love triathlon as a sport and love learning about myself and how I can help other people. Just like seeing loads of people last year smash races and like us talking to each other every week and like working on their plans and experimenting and seeing everyone improve, and it's quality. Like I love it. Like after lads have finished races, I get more excited for them than I do for my own races sometimes. Like I remember last year, Jacob, who I've been working with since the start, he was one of the first people I started coaching along with yourself. Oh geez. Yeah, yeah, he did his first Ironman talent and then like rang me afterwards and he was like just buzzing, and that feeling is just quality. Like you can see all the hard work they put in and everyone puts in, and yeah, it's really good. And I want to try and build it as more of a community. Like when I move back to the UK, I want to try and get out on training rides with everyone, like bring everyone together at group races, do some training camps abroad. And yeah, I've basically essentially learned from my coach last year, and I'm still learning from my experiences and the new coach I have now. And most of the people I'm working with are brand new to triathlon. It's not like I'm coaching like people who have been in for 5 or 6 years. So I feel like it's very within my depth, and it's more about helping people like understand what kit they need, what nutrition they need, like what they should worry about in the first races, and then just keeping them consistent in training. Like the training's not massively overly complicated. So yeah, but I really enjoy it, and I feel like I'm getting better at coaching. And yeah, a lot of people have mixed opinions about how long you should wait until you coach. But I've like spoke to like the Tri guys and other people who do coaching, and they're like, well, there's only one way you can like kind of learn. I've done a British Triathlon level 2 coaching qualification, and that I learned nothing. Like all I learned was about
you learn by doing it,
safeguarding and like like how not to get sued, and
yeah,
it was just all policy. And I was like, yeah, that's not. So I didn't want to pay an extra like $2,000 to do the high performance 1-to-1, which like people get moody on now. They're like, oh, you haven't got the right qualification. I'm like, well, it's not a legal requirement, and
no,
for me, that's just a money making scheme for them.
It's just a box ticking exercise.
Exactly, mate. Yeah. So no, I'm really enjoying the coaching, and it's going really well. It's hard to balance everything now where I am with everything going on. It's non-stop, but like that's a good problem to have. I think like yourself, like running businesses and everything. It's flat out, but yeah, I wouldn't change it. And like I say, in June I'll have a lot more time to put into everything, and yeah, I'm excited.
So finally, then, what's the Grandmaster plan now? Like, what's the direction? Where do you want to go with this?
The Grandmaster plan is to literally just like be brave, put myself in situations where I'm out of my comfort zone, take risks, pursue what I'm passionate about is the main thing I always say. Whatever I'm passionate about is probably going to change. Just do it. I think life's really short. Like I'll be old and in my chair before I know it. So yeah, just keep pushing myself, keep doing what I'm passionate about. I want to show other people as well. Like I'm just a very normal lad that just like loves doing what I'm doing right now. Like with all the social media and videography, like if you do put your mind to something and really, really like stick at it and just keep going relentlessly at stuff you're passionate about, you can make like a living from it. You can make a life from it. I'm not massively money driven. Like everything I'm doing is not just to try and make as much money as I can. It's just to like be around good people, good experiences, meet new people. And yeah, that's the main thing I want. So the Grandmaster plan is wing it, do what I'm passionate about, and just see where it takes me.
Amazing, love that.
Cheers,
well, Thank you, Jack. I really appreciate you coming on. Really appreciate it. It's been really insightful to hear about you and what you've been doing. And I'm really happy with you as a coach and everything you've been doing for me. So if you're looking for a triathlon coach, I know Jack sort of played himself down, but he's fantastic. He's really good at what he does. Yes, he may not have been in triathlon for 20 years, but the reality is he's passionate, and he's also from a military background. So I think that adds an extra layer to what he does. So, don't play yourself down, Jack. I think he's very good at what he does. So if you're looking to get into triathlon, or you want to take your times to the next level, I think Jack's definitely a good shout to go for. But yeah, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate that, Luke. Thanks for having me, mate. It's been class, and let's smash some of your races this year as well.
Let's do it, brother. Thank you.